So this is Gabrielle Barnes. Her title is Communications and Outreach Editor at the National Library Service for the Blind and Print Disabled with the Library of Congress. And her title, or the title of her presentation is the National Library Service for the Blind and Disabled. She's going to give you sort of a background and overview of NLS. And so since the time is limited, I won't go into any more. You can kind of introduce what you're going to talk about, and you can take it from there. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. So as I said, my name is Gabrielle Barnes, and I'm here from the National Library Service for the Blind and Print Disabled. Many of the BVA members are patrons of NLS through your talking book libraries in your state. So NLS is a free Braille and talking book library service for people with temporary or permanent low vision blindness, or people who have a physical, perceptual, or reading disability that prevents them from reading or holding a printed page. We work with libraries across the country, so we have at least one library in every state that serves our audio and Braille formats that can be sent to you directly to your door for free through postage-free mail, or that can be downloaded using the BARD system, which is the Braille and Audio Reading Download. So I'll get into a little bit of updates about what NLS is doing right now. I know that a lot of the BVA members do know about NLS. If you don't, it's definitely a program that we encourage all of the BVA members to take advantage of. Like I said, you can get books, magazines, and other reading materials and music materials sent directly to you from the library in your state. If you go to our website, which is www.loc, like Library of Congress.gov/NLS, you can find a library that serves your state, and you can go even closer to serve the areas that you are in if you have a local, smaller local library that's in your area. Many of our state libraries have smaller cooperating libraries that serve smaller stations. But no matter where you are in the country, NLS serves people who have any kind of disability that keeps them from being able to use regular print, which we count as 14 font or smaller. We also want to make sure that people who have any type of use for Braille, if you're a Braille reader, that you're getting Braille materials as well. Those are sent out to you in the mail as well, or can be downloaded using the BARD system. And that's books, magazines, and music materials. NLS has the largest music collection for accessible reading in the world. So we want to make sure that people are taking advantage of using those materials. Those are both instructional materials and music appreciation materials that you can use from the library service. And the Braille and Audio Reading Download, which is the BARD or BARD mobile app, you can use BARD on your computer, or you can use it on a smart device. When you're using it on a smart device, it is completely accessible using a screen reader or using any other type of the accessible features that are in your smartphone or smart tablet. And I'll tell you a little bit about what's coming in the future from NLS. So those are the things that are already in existence, things that you can already take advantage of. That's getting your books, magazines, music materials, all of those things from the NLS program. And again, I'll give the website one more time. That's www.loc.gov. I'm going to type it in the chat as well. loc.gov/NLS. So we want to make sure that all of the BVA attendees are able to get out to, get the word out and use the NLS program. So a few updates of what's going on at NLS right now. We've got our libraries across the country are super happy to continue serving our patrons. We work really hard through the pandemic to make sure that we keep open access to Braille and talking books for NLS patrons. Many of our libraries have found virtual ways to continue keeping in contact with their patrons. Others have been open throughout the pandemic and have found ways to continue sending things by mail that are sent directly to our patrons' homes, or to facilitate using the download using BARD or BARD Mobile. It's been reinforced how important it is for our patrons to have this service, because access to reading materials is limited when your public libraries and other agencies that would normally serve you are not available during, that have not been available during the pandemic. So as we're coming out of the pandemic, we're continuing to find new ways to serve, and we're really excited about the expansions of things that we're doing. So one of the things that's going on is we are making sure that people are using BARD, because BARD it provides a digital access wherever you are. It allows for immediate downloads, so you're not waiting for the mailing of the cartridges or mailing of the Braille books to your home, which has been delayed sometimes because of either closings in the physical spaces of our libraries, or because of delays in the mail. So because you're able to use BARD, we want to encourage patrons to get on BARD and use that for the immediate download. People who are not already using BARD, there are benefits to using BARD if you're a patron, even if you're already using NLS materials that are sent by mail. So you don't have any fees to pay for using the books the way you would use with something like Audible or Scribd. There are no constraints of copy allocation or any due dates like you would get from a public library or from public digital collections. And then the program itself, the BARD app, is simple and user-friendly. And again, like I said, it's accessible to screen readers, it's accessible to refreshable Braille devices, and to assistive technology. One of the updates that has come out in the last few months is an update to the BARD app for Androids, which makes it much more seamless in its connection to refreshable Braille devices using the Android devices. If you use an Apple device, it's been really successful with connecting by Bluetooth to those devices in the past, but now that has been updated for both Apple and Android devices. It's accessible using other assistive technology. So whatever format that you're using BARD either on your computer or on a smart device is a much more accessible format for people to be able to use wherever they are. Anyone who is a patron from NLS, an active patron, and has an email account can use the BARD service. So all you have to do is get with your local library. Your local library will make sure that you are signed up for BARD, and they will send you a password to your email so that you can have access once you download the app or download the program, use the program online on your computer. For additional information for that, you can call your local library. I'm going to put the phone number in the chat as well. So the phone number is 1-888-NLS-READ. Again, that's 1-888-NLS-READ, which ends up being 1-888.
We just temporarily lost Gabrielle, but I'm not sure she'll come back on. Let's give her a second here. Gabrielle, if you can hear me, maybe you can reconnect perhaps. I think she went off, so she's gonna try to reconnect. We'll see if she can get back on. Something happened with her particular connection. These are the challenges of technology. Nothing is for sure. We'll see if she can get back on. You're back with us now.
There we go. I'm so sorry about that. Okay.
No problem. That's part of this game, you know?
Right.
I'm not sure exactly where you were when we lost you, but yeah, just pick it up wherever you can. Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
back
Okay, so
on.
I think I got cut off when I was telling you a little bit about the how-to series on Bard that's on YouTube. So on the Library of Congress YouTube page, you can find a series of videos that are sharing how to use Bard on a mobile device, on a tablet, or a smartphone. It also gives instructions on how to use a refreshable Braille device with those with the app as well. If you're using Bard on a computer, there's some information about that as well. But the easiest way to use it really is on a smartphone or smart device. It's a much easier way to access it. If you access it on the computer, again, there are videos on the Library of Congress YouTube channel to be able to give you information about that. So like I said, one of the most recent updates is that the Android version of the app is now accessible using a refreshable Braille device. And so if you have an Android smartphone or tablet, that's an update that I think is really exciting for our patrons. At NLS, we're always striving to build on our technology and strategies to best serve our patrons. So a key component of the new technology that we are currently working on is voice user interface. And voice user interface is similar to like Siri or Alexa that allows you to browse the NLS catalog. It'll allow you to search for specific titles and navigate within a book using voice commands. So with voice user interface or VUI, we have started testing a new digital talking book player that resembles a smartphone. The same VUI technology will be used in an NLS speaker skill that is in development. So that would work with the Amazon Echo or Google Home or those types of smart speaker devices in the future. So that could be ready for field testing in the near future. The smartphone is being field tested currently. And then upcoming versions of Bard would use the same voice user interface technology as well. Right now, we've begun the field test, like I said, on the voice user technology, and we're really excited to collect data and feedback from our users. Besides the VUI on the reader and smart speaker devices, NLS is also working hard on prototypes of a new model of the digital talking book machine that would have online capabilities, that would be able to stream a book instead of downloading it directly. So those are capabilities that are in design in our engineering section right now. So we're excited about a lot of the different projects that we're working on right now. Those are different things that hopefully by the BVA convention next year, we'll have some more exciting updates about methods of delivery for the service to patrons using, again, like the new reader, the smartphone style reader, a smart speaker skill, updates to Bard Mobile, of course, and then a new hardware device that would be a new model of the digital talking book player. The last thing that I think BVA members may have heard about is our pilot program for the NLS Braille e-reader. So the Braille e-reader is a refreshable Braille device that we finally have gotten we've gotten permission from the Library of Congress, but even bigger than that, our Congress to be able to give out to our patrons, and we would loan those out the same way we loan out the talking book machine. So the patrons using the Braille e-reader would have timely access to Braille books the same way that you have immediate access to audiobooks using the Bard Mobile or to using the Bard system on your computer. That way you can use Braille without having to wait for Braille volumes to be sent or to be returned to the libraries by mail. Digital Braille files are searchable, and that makes it easier for readers to locate specific words, phrases, or passages that they're looking to read. It makes things portable because, as we know, traveling with Braille can be, a very cumbersome. You have access to digital format Braille titles, which allows you access to books immediately wherever you are using the Bard or Bard mobile systems. Our libraries also benefit when we're using using a Braille e-reader for our patrons, because libraries will save space as they won't have to store a large number of the Braille volumes. That doesn't mean we will get rid of Braille volumes. We'll always have hard copy Braille, but it also just gives them an opportunity to use their space for other projects or use their space to make sure they're serving patrons in the way that's most efficient for them. Digital Braille reduces concerns that we have about environmental damage and the degradation of the hard copy Braille when it's being used over and over. So the new Braille e-reader, I'll tell you a little bit about how the actual machine would look. It'll be a 20-cell display, and it'll have 8 dots per cell. It will also have a Perkins-style Braille input keyboard and cursor routing buttons. It will have Bluetooth connectivity, which will have it be useful with a smartphone or tablet using the Bard mobile device. The NLS Braille e-reader will also have a limited amount of memory to hold the Braille books on it. The e-reader will not have note-taking capabilities that are intrinsic to the device. So basically the e-reader will be somewhere between a Braille display and a note taker using the Bard system. Several of our libraries are already participating in the Braille pilot program. So the best thing to do is to contact your local library and let them know that when a Braille device is available in your library, that you would be interested in testing it, or when they do finally release to the public that you'd be interested in using one. You can contact your local library at that number, 1-888-NLS-READ. That's 1-888-657-7323. Once you're contacted your local library, they'll give you any information that you need about using Bard, about getting signed up for, again, that Braille e-reader pilot program that's out right now, and about any updates to technology that's available to you through NLS or even through our regional programs. NLS is very proud to support and to sponsor BVA this year, and we're glad to participate. And I've left a little bit of space here for any questions anyone has. So if we have any questions, I'm open to those right now.
All right, Anthony Thompson, go ahead and unmute.
Yes, thank you, ma'am, so much for this information. But recently, I've had a problem with joining different apps and not being enlisted on the other, I guess whoever it is, the other person's list, where they don't add you to their program. And I wasn't able to join a group. So what's up with that one? Is that a new update or something? I don't know.
You're saying you're joining a group, or you're subscribing to an author?
Well,
This is
I'm
in
sorry.
the NLS app in Bard?
It was a VA function going on, a function in VA,
Okay.
where it was like we were doing an exercise competition, and we had to join the WebEx or some app, and I could never connect with them, and come to find out that they needed to add me to their list or something in order for me to be a part of it.
Okay, well, I'm not sure what app that is, but I don't believe that's part of the NLS
Yeah,
program.
Gabrielle, I'll manage that. Mr. Thompson, yeah,
Sure.
that was a totally separate system, and that was a limitation that the VA experienced in that platform. So that just wouldn't be applicable for the National Library Services right now. Eduardo Miranda. Eduardo, go ahead and unmute, please.
Currently unmuted.
Good morning. Thank
To
you
click
for
this
that
button,
presentation.
press
That was
Control,
awesome.
Option, space.
Thank you.
I guess I heard you in your presentation mention that the engineering department is leaning over to streaming as opposed to downloading. When I hear streaming, I think about data, and I love downloading because I could be in the side of a mountain. I could still be able to listen to a book and not have to worry about having an internet connection.
Yep.
Is that where it's leaning to in the future?
So it's not as opposed to, it's an ability to do both. So what the streaming, I guess I'd use, air quotes with that. In essence, what it would be doing is allowing you to read a book on one device and then switch to another device and still maintain the same location in the book. So it's less about not being able to download. You'd still be able to download to your device. It's just an additional function that would allow you to switch from one device to another. Does that answer your question, Eduardo?
Currently unmuted.
Yes, it does. And I
window.
guess whenever we have more capabilities, it's always or usually a good thing, right?
Yes, yes. It allows you then you can still do the downloads where you can read the book anywhere you go, but it also then would allow you to, if you would like to do the streaming version instead, then that would allow you to switch from one device to another. So I use Bard on my telephone, but I also use it on my iPad. And so I've started reading a book on my iPhone, and when I, switch to another location, when I open Bard and open my account, that book would then go to the location where I was currently reading on my phone. But that is something, again, that's in development. It's not out yet. It's not, we're not sure 100% how that's going to work. So it's something that we're testing, and we're hoping that it will work well for our patrons. And as soon as that's something that we see works very well, then we'll release it to the public. I think I have time for one more question, maybe two.
Yeah, we don't have anybody with their hands raised yet, but we
Okay.
will wait and see. And remember, anybody that might be on a phone, that's going to be the *9 feature to raise your hand on a telephone. If you have a question on the computer, we went through all of those prompts for you earlier. So
All right.
otherwise, Gabrielle, if there's any additional information, oh, we've got somebody who came in now, Mr. Kevin Jackson, District Director Jackson. Go ahead and unmute, sir. Kevin, we're just waiting for you to unmute, sir.
Can you hear me okay now, sir?
We can.
Yes.
Go ahead. Good
Great.
copy.
Thank you for that wonderful presentation. I really appreciate it. I've been using BART or NLS for many, many years, basically since I lost my vision in '91. My question to you is, we as patrons, what process do we need to take if we would like to make a recommendation to BART or to NLS as to what books or what magazines they can add to us as users, add for our use as viewers, I should say?
So the best way to make a suggestion is to go through your local library. So we have reader advisors who are the best resource when it comes to looking for new books, looking for new titles, looking for new magazines, things like that. And so they're the ones who generally know the breadth of our collection and our catalog. If there's something that you're looking for and the reader advisor doesn't knows that we don't have it, they will then take those suggestions. And what happens is when there are a lot of local suggestions for something that may not be at a national level where the NLS service would produce it at a national level, sometimes our local libraries, some of them have capabilities to produce books at a regional level. So I believe it was last week, the 10,000th book that was produced by a local library or regional libraries was put onto BARD. So we have over 10,000 now, 10,000 books that are produced by the local libraries, either in Braille or audio formats that are on BARD. So we definitely encourage you to contact your local library, let them know, hey, I've been reading this, series and we're missing book 4 or whatever. And they definitely send those requests and those suggestions up to us here at headquarters, but they also make sure that anything that might be more of a regional interest, that they keep those requests, and sometimes they produce them themselves in your area. So definitely put in those requests to your local library.
Thank you very much.
No problem. All right, so if I have no other questions, I will encourage everyone to follow us on Facebook.
You've got one more, Gabrielle. If we can
Oh, one
throw
more, okay.
at you really quick, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I'm going to ask Kiwan Amy. Kiwan, you can go ahead and unmute, please.
Hello, can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
All right. So hello, my name is Kiwan Amy, and I believe you just partially answered my question, and I'm just wanting to verify. So I just recently self-published my own book in regards to how I lost my eyesight, and I'm trying to figure out how to best go about getting my book either on BARD and or published in Braille. So I think you partially answered it, but I don't know if you might be better with elaborating a little bit more on what I should do.
Sure. So I'd say the first thing to do is if you want to get your book published in Braille or transcribed in Braille, there's on the NLS website, there are tons of resources, but one of them specifically is a directory of accessible format producers. And that has a list of organizations and companies that provide transcription services. They provide automatic download services. They provide audio recording services. All of those are within that directory. And if you're looking to publish or expand the usability of your book, that's a great resource for you to look at. In addition to that, again, if you have any interest in having your book added to the collection, that's something that you would take to your local library and talk to your reader advisor, and they'll give you more information about that.
Okay, and I'm blanking on the website name. What was that again?
Excuse me. The website is www.loc, like Library of Congress, loc.gov/NLS.
NLS.
So you can,
Okay, got it.
Yeah, you can do that, or you can send your, you can call in with your request. But again, like I was about to say before your question, I would encourage everyone to follow us on Facebook. And we're at Facebook at All May Read. I'm putting that in the chat as well. And it's our 90th anniversary this year. So we are celebrating year round. We have a lot of different programs and highlights that we've got going on Facebook. And Facebook is also a great place to locate your local library or get any updated information when it comes to national programs. So definitely keep in touch with us on Facebook and go to our website. And if you need to call your local library, you can do that at 1-888-NLS-READ. All right.
Gabrielle, thank you so much for the presentation today. We really appreciate it. We'll look forward
Thanks
to
for
working
having
with you in
me.
the future. With that, I'll turn it over to Stuart for our next presenters.
Thank you. Thank you, Don, and thank you, Gabrielle, one more time.